Hello flight simmers, welcome back to the TJ Pilot channel, and we are finally back with a long-haul full flight video today. We are taking this beauty of an aircraft, the PMDG 748 in the Lufthansa colors, from Frankfurt over to Chicago airport. We are sitting here at gate Alpha 25 in the registry Delta Alpha Bravo Yankee Charlie. And this is the exact same setup as the real world flight, which is operating the same registry from the same gate today. So we have a pretty nice setup here for our flight. And before we get started in the flight deck, let's have a quick look at our flight plan for today. So we are operating Lufthansa flight 430 on the 8th of December 2019 from Frankfurt to Chicago in the 748. Registry, as already mentioned, Delta Alpha Bravo Yankee Charlie, and we have a cost index of 70 calculated today and an average wind of 49 knots from 261, so a bit of headwinds as usually on these flights. Flight time today of 9 hours and 4 minutes with 45 minutes of final reserves, giving us block fuel of 102.4 tons roughly. Zero fuel weight today, 268.6, so not maxed out, and estimated takeoff weight of 370 tons. In terms of payload, we are carrying 350 packs today and 12 tons of cargo, so giving us a payload of 48.5 tons and a zero fuel weight of 268.6, as already mentioned. In terms of weather, the flight shouldn't be too bad. There are no significant weathers on the route. It might be a bit cloudy over at Chicago, but we will deal with that once we get there, of course. That being said, let's head into the flight deck. And first thing I want to do is to proceed with the GSX boarding. So fuel truck is on its way, that's good, and I will also go ahead and request the boarding now. And then we have, of course, 350 packs. Alright. So IRSs are just about to align. That's very convenient. APUs are off. We are connected to the external power. We can go ahead and put on the window heats. And we can also put on the packs for now. Nav lights are on. And it's looking pretty good on the overhead panel. And now we need to open some more doors. So left one is opening. And let's see, okay, the fuel truck is here already. And jetways are connected, that's nice. As you can see around, it's winter time. We got a bit of snow around here in Frankfurt, and I believe it's looking quite similar in Chicago. So it's not a winter wonderland flight like we had in Scandinavian, but somewhat similar to it. Okay, in order to align, we need to enter the IRS position. And I would just get the GPS position and put it in here. And yeah, here we are. That's aligned, perfect. Okay, I haven't set up the weights yet. We are going to do this now, although we have GSX in place. So FS actions, payload, zero fuel weight of 268.6. That goes in here. So we got 15 first, 56 business, 230 economy. A bit of cargo, quite a low load level today, although this seat configuration is not customized for the aircraft. Fuel, we have 102.485, 53.6%. Okay, so that being done, we can go ahead with the flight planning actually. So first thing we need to do is set up the D-Link. Okay, pre-flight going from EDDF to KORD. Estimated time of departure is 9:45 Zulu, so 10:45 a.m. Local time, and time en route of 9 hours and 4 minutes. Airline ID is of course LH and flight number DLH 430. Perfect, that's done. Okay, so back to the flight planning, we can now request the route, which should be stored here. And yeah, there it is. So 3,833 nautical miles to go today. In the meantime, I already want to put up the checklists here. Okay, uplink is ready, we can load that in. Here we go. So we will be departing from runway 25 center today. I'll put that in there, and flight number DLH 430. Activate. Very good performance. Let's see what we got here. So weights are fine. Reserves 11.6. Okay. Cruise level 340 initially. Cost index 100, I will dial that down a little bit. No, it wouldn't even take 70. Okay, so we will, yeah, I will accept that, and that's fine. I will just change, yeah, wind data is ready, that's good. I will change step size to 2000. Alright, and we will go to the winds. Put the second FMC on progress, and let's see what we got. So 23 goes to 19. That seems to be realistic. And the forecast for the descent, we will also do that now. Transition level, of course, 180 in the US. Okay, sweet. Let's load it in. Okay, so quick look at the departure chart. We are departing runway 25 center on the departure Oboka to November. Let's see if we can find that. Oboka to November, that's good. And yeah, so we will be departing and then take an immediate left turn on heading 183 towards the south, and then we will later on, after 14 miles from FFM-VOR, we will turn right and then sort of a northwestern track up to Oboka. Yeah, they do this left turn right after departure for in case some aircraft is going around on runway 25 right. And yeah, that's what we will do as well. So that's done. In order to do the takeoff, we of course need to handle the performance, so let's go over here. I will dim that down a bit so it's easier to see for you guys. Initialize the flight, performance, copy FMC data, that's already in there. Let's get the weather. Okay, so winds today 200 at 16, so quite windy here in Frankfurt. Temperature of 10 degrees and altimeters of 1010. Rust rating, we will start with a 2 and then work our way up. Flaps 20 departure, aircon is on, anti-ice is off, and center of gravity, I need to double check. (21.9).
I'm right next to her. Thank you.
And conditions are dry. So let's see, no, that didn't work, so takeoff 1 maybe. And here we got some values. So flap 20 departure, derate takeoff 1 with a selected temperature of 32, giving us these speeds, looking pretty good to me. So let's get this over to the FMC. So thrust limits 32, takeoff 1. And now we have to enter it again. Okay. So 91.2, is that in line actually? 90.6. So a touch more. But yeah, we will go with that. That's fine. Now they have selected climb 2 if I saw it correctly. Okay, there was an auto selection, so we will go with that. Probably more than enough climb power anyway. Flap 20 settings, center of gravity. And then 144, 54, 65. So 54, 65, and it's 144 over here. Okay, sweet. 165, I will get this trade in here. .165, perfect. Barrows go over to hectopascal, and that was 1010 if I remember correctly. There we go. Yeah, now we can also see it on the navigation display. So after departure, we go to the immediate left turn and then swing around to the northwest direction. All right, that being done, let's and we will do some checklists. So oxygen is over here, tested 100%. Flight instruments 293 and 293, and altimeters of 1010 and 1010. That's checked. Parking brake is on now, and fuel control switches are cut off, so the pre-flight checklist is completed. Okay, so I believe the packs are on board. Let's see. Okay, the last containers are being loaded. That's a very good timing indeed. I should go ahead and put on the seatbelt signs. And in the meantime, we can do the taxi briefing. Okay, so here's November 5. Alpha 25 is around here. So November 5, then left on Lima, down to the runway. As easy as that. Okay, now we just see the last containers being loaded. There's one more for the forward cargo department. And I got myself a coffee, which is very handy here in Sunday early morning time. And in the meantime, I can go ahead and start up the APU. In terms of fuel, let's actually check if we have something in the center tank. So fuel. No, center tank is empty. Okay. And here on the nav page, we can see that the FFM VOR is dialed in, and we will need that for departure, since we have to start the left turn after departure once we are 4.5 miles from FFM VOR, or if we are at altitude 800 feet, whichever is latest. So we will try to meet those requirements on departure. Okay, and APU is ready. I will connect that. APU bleed is on, that's good. Okay, now we got the boarding complete message. So I can go ahead and close all the doors. Doors close all, and then once they are closed we can arm them, and in the meantime remove the ground connections. So doors are closed, arm, that's good. And now I will ask GSX for a pushback. Let's see if the jetways are disconnecting. Yes, they are. That's very good. Okay, and we still need to set up the MCP. I could have done it earlier. Sorry about that.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
So here I will dial in 183, since that is our direction we need to go for the left-hand turn. 183, and altitude no constraints.
Looking gear.
So that will go to 340. Okay, flight directors, auto throttle is armed, and VNAV. Okay, so before start checklist, flight deck door is closed and locked. Pack signs are on. MCP is set at V2 165, heading 183 and altitude 340. Takeoff speeds once again are 144, 154, 165. CDU pre-flight is completed. Trim is set at 6.0 units. We need 6.6, but I believe we can only adjust it once the hydraulics are on. Yeah. Taxi and takeoff briefing is completed. Beacon goes on now. Alright, before start checklist is completed, and I will go ahead and release the parking brakes. Pushback onto November 5 facing southwest, that's correct.
All engines clear, start at will.
A340 taxiing just behind us. Actually, I haven't checked for traffic, but I hope we are fine. There's nothing coming that way, so that's good. A330 taxiing here. Now it's just a couple of days until the Aerosoft A330 is released. I'm very much looking forward to that aircraft, and you will most likely see it on the channel as well. And I still owe you a CRJ flight, so so many new releases recently. I barely get to fly them all. Alright, enough of the talking, let's get started. Should put the pumps to aux. Fuel pumps can go on. Overdrives. And packs go off. Starting engines 3 and 4. Auto start. So let's see. There we can see them spooling up.
That's parking brake.
Okay, pushback is already completed. I will set the parking brakes.
Waiting your confirmation for good engine start.
I really like that new feature of the good engine start confirmation to GSX. Gives it a bit more communication. Quite a lot of traffic today here at Frankfurt Airport. And the weather does actually look better than it looks in real life, I can tell you that. Okay, so starting engines 1 and 2. And see in the background there's also the retro colored 748. There we can see the blue stripe. So quite nice to have this livery in Ultimate Traffic Live actually. In the meantime I can set up for the weather and the traffic. Terrain and traffic over here. Okay, that looks like good engine starts. We will put on the hydraulics and I will also confirm the engine start. Packs go on and APU can come off. APU lead goes off as well. Okay, so before taxi checklist, anti-ice is off. I don't need that today.
Here.
Recall is checked. Auto brakes, RTO, flight controls.
Light has been removed.
There we go. So full left, full right, neutral, full up, full down, neutral and rudder, full left and full right, neutral. That's checked. Ground equipment is not cleared. Ooh, that was fast. It's already a new 747 in there. Okay, interesting.
Left is clear, right is clear.
Let's set the flaps to position 20. And now ground equipment is clear. That has been confirmed. Checked. Taxi lights. And with that, we are pretty much ready to taxi. Let's watch the flaps come down. The A330 we saw earlier is already lining up on the runway. Okay, and once GSX is out of our way, we are ready to taxi. Okay, so I will release the parking brake. And off we go. We don't need to worry about clock time and flight time, since it's all going to be in the ACARS menu. There the A330 goes. And now we're going left here on taxiway Lima. It's rather a tight turn. Oh, that was not too bad actually. very nice scenery around here with the snow-covered trees. It seems like there is no traffic gonna be in front of us, so we can sort of get ready for departure. Oh, there was the before takeoff check, it was just the flaps, I clicked through it, sorry about that. Okay, here we can set to weather and turbulences and put the transponder to TARA. And what's the time actually? Are we on time? So it's 10 o'clock Zulu now, so we are 15 minutes past our scheduled departure time, but that's fine. Okay, cabin is ready. That's good. Now we can take this entrance here. Slow down for the turn. I will zoom out here a bit. Put the landing lights on, taxi lights off, strobe can go on. And with that, we are in takeoff config.
Approaching 2-5 right.
And I should put my VOR on since I need it for departure. Okay, so to double check if we are at 4.5 miles from VOR FFM or if we are 800, we are gonna start the turn and we are using the later of both. So we have to monitor both. Okay, there's an aircraft landing on 25 left. Nice PBR effects here on the fuselage.
On runway 25 right.
Okay, I would just hold short for a second. Make sure the other aircraft is safely on the ground. Yeah, it seems to be good. And oh, I need to set this trim. I forgot about that. 6.6. Okay. And now we are finally in takeoff configuration. So I will advance the throttles 50%, hit the toga button. Having the view from the upper deck. And there we can see an aircraft coming in on 25 right, and that's exactly the reason why we have to take this left turn after departure, in case that one needs to go around.
80 knots.
Checked. Okay, seems like we have plenty of power here.
V1. Rotate.
Rotate.
V2.
We are airborne. Gear up. Okay, let's focus on the flying. So we are past 800 and now we are DNE 4.4 and at 4.5, which is now we can start the left turn. So that's just now. And then from now on we can just follow the flight director. The throttle's coming back to climb power. So let's give the aircraft the chance to speed up a little bit. Beautiful departure out of Frankfurt.
Altimeter setting.
I love the winter landscape. I'm not sure why it just called for altimeter setting. That's weird, never mind. Now it's not like we're having excessive amounts of power here on the D-Rate 2 climb performance. That's alright, I will go back to flaps 10. And once I'm done with that turn, I will put on the autopilot flaps back to 5. We can enjoy some views. Not sure what I did wrong on the altimeters. Transition altitude here in Frankfurt should be at 5,000 feet. So autopilot goes on. 010, they are aligned. This one is aligned. Okay, whatever. Flaps 1. And flaps up. Bit of an engine shake here. Very nice views, I have to say. Alright, flaps are up. So I did hit the B key in the meantime, which put the altimeters to 1011. I think that was just the mistake here. Okay, so after takeoff checklist, landing gear is up and flaps are up. That's done. Put that on the fuel page. Now we are into the right-hand turn and we can see the beautiful PBR effects on the bottom of the aircraft. Nice reflections. There we can see the airport in the background. I'm really enjoying the views today. Okay, let's make sure this one is lined up. Okay, and we're way past 5,000, so I should go to standard. Yeah, that's aligned, that's good. Now it's a little bit shaky, but not too bad actually. I actually like the ORBX feature that it covers everything in snow, although that's slightly unrealistic for that time of the year, but hey, whatever, it looks pretty nice actually, so I'm fine with that. Okay, past 10,000 feet, lights go off. Now the aircraft is speeding up. Here we can see we will go basically right over airport of Cologne. It will take a while until we get there. So let's get some more nice outside views. A little bit shaky, we can see the aircraft work its way through the air. That's the Rhine River we are just passing here. Alright. Nice cloud textures as well. And with that wing view, guys, I'm going to switch over into views and music mode. I hope to get some nice views along the cruise today. And then after about 8 hours or so from now, I will get back to you, and then we will work our way into Chicago O'Hare Airport. Looking forward to that. Hope you are as well. Talk to you then. Hello viewers, welcome back to the flight deck. today we have a bit of a different procedure. We are not yet into the descent, and actually we have quite a way to go. So now we have around 650 miles to go, and we are about 7 hours into the flight at this point in time. Still, I'm back from the cockpit, since I want to do a bit of a tutorial here, and this will be on flight levels and how to choose the optimum flight level for the cruise. It's a topic which I have read a lot about, but never got it quite in my head, and today I've researched a little bit more, and now I feel like I have a pretty sound understanding of it, or at least I hope it is a sound understanding. So let's quickly talk through these altitudes. We have loads of different altitudes on here. It's the optimum, it's the max, it's the recommended, and the step 2 altitude. And it's quite difficult to choose which one is the best and most efficient for the cruise. Okay, so currently we are cruising at flight level 40, and the wind is from 297 knots, so quite a bit of wind on the nose. And let me quickly tell you what I've done. So I did a pretty early step climb to flight level 400. At this point in time, it was not so recommended by the step 2 function. However, it was recommended by the recommended altitude function. And actually we're going to start with the max altitude, since that is probably the most easiest to understand. So max is just calculated by the outside temperatures and the weight of the aircraft. So max is the flight level which is like the highest flight level you can go to. So it's pretty irrelevant for a normal cruise. However, it might be of importance if ATC tells you to climb higher due to traffic or whatever. Then it might be quite good to know which altitude you could possibly climb to. So if now ATC would tell us go to flight level 420, then we would have to say no, sorry, no can do, can't get to that altitude. Okay, so that's just from outside temperatures and weights. The optimum flight level is calculated by also optimum, outside temperature and weights, and it assumes zero wind outside. So the optimum is the most efficient altitude to cruise at if there were no winds at all. So this is basically not of use, or actually not ever used for determining the perfect cruise altitude. The recommended altitude, that takes the winds into account. So the recommended looks 500 nautical miles ahead, and it determines or takes the winds into calculation, and thus it will give you the most efficient altitude for the next 500 nautical miles. That is the reason it can be way above the other altitudes, but it could also be way below. So let's say now we have a headwind of 73 knots. Let's say at cruise level 340 there would be a tailwind of 100 knots. Then it would very likely show us that the recommended altitude is flight level 340. So this is pretty neat to determine where you want to cruise, but it might show altitudes lower than you currently are. So it also takes a bit of your own judgment if you want to follow the recommended altitude or rather stay at a different level. And then the step 2 altitude, that takes into account basically the same features as the recommended, but also the cost index. So this is, so to say, this is the most economical cruise level, while the recommended is the most fuel efficient flight level. And based on, let's say, if you enter the desired time of arrival in the FMC, then it might be quite handy to follow the step 2 altitude, since it's more spot on in terms of economic efficiency. Now at this point in time, the next step would be to flight level 420, and now it's recommending that we are not going to do this step, since it's not that far to go, and also it would take a while until we are able to reach that altitude actually. So this is not of interest for us today. So I hope that was helpful for you guys. In case you knew it before, then that's good for you. I at least didn't know it before, and that's why I thought I need to do some research on it. And yeah, it actually helps. So I've been following pretty much the recommended altitude most of the time, and now fuel has come up. Before that it was at like 15 tons remaining, and now it's 17 tons. It might be because of that, and helps you to fly more fuel efficient if you want to do so. Hello viewers, once again welcome back to the flight deck. We are back a little bit earlier than usual because I just want to take some time for the approach and don't want to get rushed because the approach is not super straightforward, and also Chicago is a very busy airport, and for that reason we want to make sure that we are well prepared for the approach. We have just made it over Lake Michigan, as we can see on the outside view. So there's the eastern coastline, we can just see there below the engine. And yeah, we are currently on the arrival route Windy 1, and we have entered that arrival at waypoint Flint, VOR Flint, which is FNT. Then onto VOR Victory, and now just over Lake Michigan onto Windy, and then also further on to waypoint Puppy. And waypoint Puppy will be essential for us since there it reads landing west, expect radar vectors to final approach course after Puppy. And we will be on a west landing, so we are in for landing 28 center today, ILS 28 center. So after Puppy we will basically turn straight south, and then we are looking to intercept the localizer somewhere around Cohen. So Cohen we want to be at 7,000 feet, and I've set that in the FMC, so at the legs page Cohen 7,000. And yeah, that's the approach we are going to do today. I've just started on the descent checklist, but we need to finish it after we've done some calculations. So we should probably do that now. So we'll go to performance, show landing, show en route, and now I probably should get the weight and balance from the aircraft. Here we go, complete. Okay, now we get the weight in, that's good. And let's get the weather out so we can see what it's like in Chicago. Okay, so runway 28 center conditions. Does it say anything here? No, it's dry. Wind 190 at 12 knots, gusting to 23. Okay, so we got 190, 12. Outside air temperature of 6 degrees. And altimeters of 2985, 29.85. Reverse no credit, flap config will be a flap 30 landing, aircon will be on, anti-ice will be off. Brakes, let's start with auto brake 2, that should be fine, and there are no non-normal checklists. And VREF, since it's gusting to 23, I want to add at least 10 here. Calculate that. So landing distance available 10,700, and then landing distance required for auto brake 2 is 9,611, and that's all right. We can switch over to manual braking if we need it, but we will go with that. Okay, other than that, visibility is 7 miles, so not perfect, but all right. Some clouds at different levels. Okay, well, that's fine. I will close menu bar. Okay, so 2985 for altimeter. Let me dial that in here. Now we are over to inches. And 29085. There we go. I hope it's over there as well. Yeah, it is. Okay, so auto brake 2 is set. Landing data. So here we got 156, which is flip 30 landing plus 10 knots, 156. And approach briefing, well, we have talked about the star, so let's talk about the actual ILS. So 28 arrival, 28 center arrival, sorry. In case of go around, we will climb to 1100. And then after that we will turn on to heading 215 to an altitude of 4,000 feet. The final approach course will be 273, and the decision altitude today will be 851. Okay, so approach briefing is completed. Altimeters are set, so approach checklist is done. Let me zoom in a bit more. Yeah, so after Papi we will turn left onto Cohen. Okay, we are now, let's see, 8 hours and 29 minutes into our flight. And the expected time of arrival is 1846 Zulu, which is just a quarter of an hour before our planned arrival time, so that's perfect. Very much in time here. And I hope the speed constriction is, yeah, it is 240 at 10,000. That's fine. So let's have a look outside. That's Lake Michigan. Very bright colors today on the lake. A few clouds around, but it says nothing or reads nothing on the radar. Should put that on auto though. That's like better. Okay, and then once on the ground, we will of course take to the international terminal, which is terminal number 5, and we will get a gate probably like Mike 16, Mike 17, around that, and we can select that once we are below 10,000 feet. Now we can see the Illinois side coming on here. And I hope we get some views on the skyline actually, but since there are some clouds around, I cannot guarantee for anything. It's a nice turning to the clouds. Pretty nice view so far. Okay, so the scenery in Chicago will be the FSDreamTeam Chicago version 2, which has been released not so long ago actually, and I think it's a really nice scenery. I haven't used it in the flight, I just had a brief look at it before, and Yeah, it looks very neat, although it is of course a heavy scenery. It's a huge airport and a very busy airport, and a big city just next to it. So I hope we are going to be alright on frames. Okay, now we are on to waypoint Cohen, where we want to be at flight level 70, sorry. And I've dialed in 2300 since that is the altitude where we want to be at waypoint Seika, which is the altitude where we want to catch the glide slope. Okay, now the aircraft is leveling off so that we can get to the speed limit. Let's see if there's a view on Chicago already, but now it's too many clouds. Should be somewhere behind those clouds, I guess. By the way, also the real world flight today, also in the registry, Delta Alpha Bravo Yankee Charlie is just about to get to Chicago, so it's basically been pretty simultaneously the flight I've been doing today. Okay, so 10,000 feet. Let's put those lights on. Yeah, so landing lights are on, we can confirm that from the outside view. Let's the view from the upper deck. Can we maybe see? Yeah, that looks like Chicago. It looks like a huge city at least. I'm not sure that's supposed to be ice, but it's hard to tell. I hope not. Okay, yeah, well, there we can see a bit. Yeah, there's the skyline coming up. The windy city. And it is quite windy actually. 42 knots at an altitude of 8,000. That's quite a lot. Okay, so at waypoint Mimor, it's a funny name, we want to be at 6,000, and what I'm going to do here is to put the flight level change, and I also might want to slow down a bit for the turning, just to the flaps up back. And then once we have completed the turn, we can already put on the localizer. Oh, that's a nice view on the skyline, eh? Oops, sorry. Very nice so far. Let's just hope I'm not screwing up on the landing. Okay, so localizer is captured. That's good. And now I will dial that to 2,300. I will also arm the approach mode, so whenever we manage to capture the glide, we can do that. Now it's about 18 miles to go. Actually, I forgot one thing. I wanted to set in so RV28C. Let's go to the fix page. RV28C, and I want to enter the 10 mile and the 4 mile range rings. So 10 mile for flap 10 at 10 and 4 mile, we should be fully configured for landing. Okay, here we go. That's good. I will go flaps 1 now. Here we can see the sleds come out with nice PBR effects. And I will dial back on the speed.
Altimeter setting.
Oh, it's the altimeter setting again. Okay, so I will just use the B key. It's probably just a little bit off, yeah. Okay, flap 5, and now we are a bit high, of course, since the aircraft wants to slow down, since I'm still on level change. That's probably not super smart. Okay, I will put the runway turnoffs on. Also go to flap 10 actually, since we're very close to the 10-mile range ring. Now I hope we can capture the glide slope any second. Let's check for the views again. Yeah, there's the skyline. Very nice. And very winterly actually. And clouds ahead, not much to see up until now. Now it's getting a bit bumpy here. Okay, we'll go ahead and arm the speed brakes. Once the glide slope is captured, I will dial back the speed to 156. I will do that with the vertical speed now, just to make sure to really capture it. No, I don't want power on the engines.
2500.
Okay, there it is. So 156 now. Cabin is ready, that's good. And yeah, we are a bit fast on the approach. So I will add some flaps to help the aircraft slow down. And here that's 25. And now it's the gear config, so I will drop the gear. A bit of a crosswind, we can nicely see it here. Yeah, there we can see the gear coming down. And the alert should stop any second. Now it's really bumpy. Okay. And almost 4 miles. Actually, we got a couple of more weeks. Wow, that's bumpy. And go around altitude 4000. And now it's the altimeter setting again. It's getting a bit messy here. And 215 is the course we want to take on a go around. Okay, flaps full. Landing checklist, speed brakes are up, landing gear is down, flaps are full any second. There we go, that's completed. Okay, I will disconnect the auto throttle, disconnect the autopilot, and it's my aircraft.
1000.
Yeah, frames have come down just a touch, of course, due to heavy scenery. Let me get rid of this alert here. At least there's not too much traffic around.
Altimeter setting.
It's really annoying with these altimeters. Maybe I should set it somewhere in the FMC accordingly so it doesn't think we are wrong all the time.
Approaching minimums.
Caution, taxiway. Caution,
Minimums.
taxiway.
Continue. Okay, so the RAAS system seems to be a bit out of place.
100. 50. 30. 20. 10.
There we are. And where's... No, we are crabbing a bit, so I need to line up the aircraft. Yeah, so we have safely made it down to Chicago O'Hare Airport. 60 knots, 50 knots. Let's take this high-speed exit, 40 knots. Yeah, a bit fast, but that's fine. All right. Welcome to the Windy City. Sorry for the little bit hectic approach, but we've made it safely, finally. Okay, so now we will go right on taxiway Papa, I believe it is. And after the turn I will start the cleanup. It should slow down. Yeah, now you can see that the frames have come down a bit. Okay, I've notched down the graphic card settings quickly, so we got a little bit more smoothness in the picture. Okay, so clean up, flaps go up. And flight directors, I believe speed brakes are still up, yes, okay. So we're getting a bit fast here. Okay, what else? Landing lights go off. Turn-offs go off, taxi light goes on. We should stay in the center line. Strobes go off. APU can wait for another second, I believe. Oh, and I've totally forgot to set up GSX, I just noticed. Let's do that now. Parking facility and terminal 5 concourse mic, and now we will go for mic 16 if that's available. Navigate, that's good.
Approaching. 3, 2, left.
And I believe it's most likely United Airlines for Lufthansa. Okay, transponder back to standby. Okay, let's see, so we will go pretty much all the way down on the taxiway. Yeah, it's a very nice scenery. You can see the ground textures; they look amazing. Also, the snowy, the snow sort of blowing on the taxiway looks awesome, but it is heavy on the frames. I have to say that. And there we have a Dreamliner American lining up, very nice, and Skyline over there. The Sears Tower, which is now called differently, but I can't remember the name just now. So what was the flight time actually? 8 hours and 43. So about 20 minutes shorter than scheduled. That's quite good. Okay, so we will take the next one to the left-hand side, which is Golf Golf. And then we of course have to wait for the American Airlines to get out of our way. I believe it's starting the takeoff roll. That's good, so we can continue with our taxi. And for the sake of good airmanship, I'm going to put the strobes on since we are crossing a runway.
Approaching 27 left.
Hopefully this CRJ or whatever, hopefully he's waiting for us. Okay, strobes can come back off. Okay, now we will go right on Victor. Let's make sure there's no traffic from the left hand side. That looks good. And then a quick left turn on Victor 4. And then the gate should be very close now. It's quite hard to maneuver that thing. It's quite big after all. Let's take the next one that seems to be more straight into our parking. So if we take the left turn here, we should be pretty much aligned with the parking already. Yes, there it is, just straight ahead. Oh no, it's to the left hand side there, so we have to go a little bit to the left. That's fine. Yeah, so that's Mike 16. I should start the APU very quickly. I definitely want to switch to the outside view since I don't trust GSX. Yeah, that's quite good for parking, I guess. That view, there are two 747 markings. I will take the after one. Don't get too fast. So there's 747. And almost okay, but that's fine. I will leave it here. APU should be available. It is. That's good. So parking brakes go on and control switches go off. APU delete goes on. And taxi lights are going off. Beacons are going off. Fuel pumps all can go to off. Window heats will stay on. Hydraulics can come off as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it on the overhead. So let's ask for a deboarding. So jetways seem to be working. That's nice. And it is quite a nice scene, I have to say. So the white aircraft and all the snowy landscape. But I definitely have to work on the frames for this airport. It's not superb as it is now. Okay, so FSDreamTeam, doors, disarm all. And then we can open left 2 and the, where is it, forward cargo, after cargo, bulk cargo. That's good. Okay, so D-Link, what have we got here? Post-flight. We are on 18:47 and in at 18:56, so just pretty much spot on schedule time, 4 minutes ahead of the time. Adding fuel 16.3 tons. Clock time of 9 hours and 5 minutes and flight time of 8 hours and 43 minutes. So, sweet. Now deboarding should be going on. And with that view, I'm going to say goodbye to you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Feel free to like and subscribe if you want to see more. And I'm also happy to receive any route recommendations in case you want to see any particular route. Feel free to mention it. And hope to see you next time. Bye bye.